Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. In a video I made a couple days ago, I made the brief comment about not everyone who trains is trying to get an aesthetic physique to attract gay men at the beach. And a couple of people didn't like that, and I really said that tongue-in-cheek, and it allows me to kind of segue into this topic of people who actually lift for girls. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, as an older guy who's 36, I've been married twice. I had more than my share of flings and one-night stands when I was younger. And a lot of experience with women, a lot of experience with bodybuilding. There seems to be a lot of misconceptions with young guys who get into training regarding who they're going to attract and why as a result of their training. And I want to just clarify for you guys a little bit how this really works, to give you guys some insight from someone a little older with a bit more experience here. One of the things that you need to consider, first of all, is that any girl who is going to sleep with you just because she thinks you're hot and for no other reason, and so guys who are lifting for girls are trying to pick up this type of girl, you need to be realistic here. A girl who's going to do that has probably done that with 2 other guys every week for the past year. So if you fuck her, you basically just fucked 100 other guys. What you're going to find is that the majority of girls, and it doesn't matter whether we're talking about guys who just want to get laid or guys who are looking for a relationship, what you're going to find with the majority of girls, they might think a guy is hot and notice him, but they're not necessarily going to hit on him, and they're not necessarily going to have sex with him just because they think he's hot. Women who are not total sluts will generally only have sex with a man, even if it turns out to just be a one-night stand, who they see some sort of potential for something long-term with. That's just the way women are built. That's the way women think. And there are exceptions, but that is the way they think. And what will attract women the most in that regard are confident, successful men. And what you oftentimes find with guys who live for girls, sometimes it gives them more confident, but oftentimes it brings out their insecurities, and it doesn't necessarily change their personality. It doesn't make them more confident. And oftentimes they spend so much time obsessing over doing 20 sets of concentration curls and counting every gram of carbs and 20 sets of chest flies and things like that, that they oftentimes neglect the other areas of their life that will make them more successful and attract women. And in all honesty, if you're a young man, you're not going to get girls very easily if you're living with your mom still. If you want to attract women, having a good job, even if you're going to school, finding a side job to where you can make decent money, to where you have extra spending money, you have your own car, the nicer the better. You live in your own place, and if you can build up enough money to actually have your own house as a young man, you're going to get a lot of women flocking to you. And it's not just about gold diggers, it's about being successful and being seen as a provider. And what you're going to find with that is that women, even the ones who are not gold diggers, still want a man who can be a provider, even successful women. And case in point, my sister makes upper class income. She works very hard, she's an entrepreneur, and she makes well over 6 figures a year. She will not date a man who doesn't make at least a comparable amount of income and isn't successful, because to her, what she has said is she does not want to waste her time with a man who is not on her level. She doesn't want to be a provider for a man who's going to mooch off of her hard work. So being successful, and it doesn't just have to be about money, you can be successful in something you love or your career, but you need to be successful and you need to be confident if you want to attract women. And so going and getting an education or finding a good job or working hard, making yourself look more presentable, nice clothes, things like that will go a lot further than working on your body will. Now, the body can be a plus on top of it, but the other things need to be your biggest concerns if you're actually concerned with getting girls or finding a relationship rather than your training. Your training needs to take a back seat if that's the reason you're training. You're not training to be a serious athlete. You don't need to have the dedication a serious athlete has. In fact, it's a misallocation of resources if you're trying to get girls. And what you're going to find is that A lot of guys have a misconception about what physique is going to attract women as well. Women don't like veins. If you are ultra shredded and you're 6% body fat, only about 1 in 10 or 1 in 5 women are even going to find your body attractive. You're going to find just as many, even very hot girls, who are repulsed by your physique. If you're covered in veins and shit, they don't like that. Guys who have a little bit of muscle or even a fair amount of muscle and carry an average healthy amount of body fat are going to get a larger pool of women who are attracted to them. If you're 13 to 15% body fat, more women are going to find your physique attractive than if you're 6 or 7% body fat. So this idea that you want to get super shredded and super aesthetic to attract girls is actually not necessarily going to help you that much. It might get a few of them who really like that thing, but a larger percentage are going to be repulsed by it. And case in point, even I today get hit on by more women. Now granted, they're women my age, married women and things, who actually hit on me when I'm out shopping doing other things, than who hit on me when I was actually a lean bodybuilder back in my 20s. When I was a lot more aesthetic and leaner and sub 10% body fat, I got hit on by women less than I do now, as a general rule. So what you're going to find is that you're not going to get hit on by women as much as you think you do by having a nice physique. Some of them are going to look and they might admire, but it doesn't mean they're going to go out on a date with you. It doesn't mean they're going to sleep with you. And in fact, a lot of women are very insecure about themselves, and they don't want a man who spends more time working on his appearance than they do. And in fact, for a lot of women, that's going to be a turnoff. So you also need to put that into perspective. And you're going to find there are just as many women who will find a rugged, confident man who is a little unkept and has a 5 o'clock shadow and is 14% body fat and just manly and hairy. You're going to find just as many women who are going to be very attracted to that as who are going to be attracted to what you would think of as a fitness model type physique. And so if you're doing it to get girls, again, it's really a big misallocation of resources to do it the way most of you guys are doing it. It's a waste of time. And the reason I made that other statement is what I've also learned in my life is that while you won't necessarily attract women doing it, you're going to attract a lot of men. In fact, I will go so far as to say that when I was a younger, leaner bodybuilder, for every woman who hit on me, I had 15 to 20 gay men approach me. In between that, every woman who hit on me, I had 15 to 20 gay men approach me and hit on me. So that is who you're actually going to attract. And people forget that there's a lot of homoeroticism, there's a lot of gay prostitution and all of that in bodybuilding. And think about it, gay men are men, just like you and I are. Women don't always go in and just attack and chase down a man. Men will do that to women. So put yourself in the perspective of the gay man. In my experience, most gay men are very attracted to very muscular, very in shape men, or very aesthetic men who have very lean aesthetic physiques. It's going to get you a lot of attention from gay men. And they're men just like we are. They will aggressively pursue somebody they want to have sex with. So if you get into really good shape, be prepared. You're going to get hit on by men continually, a lot more than you're going to get hit on by women. And that just goes with the territory. So put that into perspective. So you need to be prepared for that. And at the end of the day, you need to keep that in mind. That's a big part of what the sport of bodybuilding is about bodybuilders having sex with gay men for money, and gay men showing up at the shows to watch sexy, oiled up men pose in their underwear. And what you're going to find is that when you go to most bodybuilding shows, you're going to find a very high percentage of the audience are gay men who are there because they are attracted to the male bodybuilders. And it's not because there's a bunch of women who are there attracted to the bodybuilders. Those are going to be a lot smaller group. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope this has kind of clarified some things and given you guys some ideas of how to allocate your resources if your goals are actually to attract women. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time.